like this deal I had today, and this is going to break your heart, and I'm sorry for it.
Uh-oh.
But
Hello, silver fans. This is T, and you're in the place to be for silver education, acquisition, and entertainment. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody.
Chicago.
All right, hey Russ, how's it going, man?
good, how are you?
Good. Nice day to come up to Chicago and beat the heat in the AC here. It's hot out there.
It's a little humid out there, too.
Yeah, hey, midsummer in the Midwest. But hey, we're here, and let's talk about what's going on in the shop. What have you seen? What's been up, man? It's been a while.
It has been a little bit. Since the last time we talked, dear audience, gold has gone stupid, and we're over 2,300, as you all know.
Uh-huh.
So it's just been a lot of what I like to call hot potato around here.
Uh-huh.
We're still seeing huge swings in gold. Not daily, but near daily. And I mean, even right now, today, we're down $15.
Okay.
Which in the grand scheme of things for a lot of people isn't a big deal. It's fine. When you're a big retail shop like we are and we buy everything that comes over the counter, it can get a little hinky, so we got to be careful. When you have a $20 drop in gold and you're only going to make 1.5%
Right.
on, the $250,000 you just wrote, you got to be pretty quick with it. We're seeing a lot of selling.
Mm-hmm.
I am seeing buying, but it's not generally the onesie-twosie buyers. It's guys that already have a lot of money and are looking to either get into the market, convert into the market, or kind of somewhere in between. So the little retail guy has really kind of dropped off a little bit at this price level.
Right.
But there's still plenty of demand.
Yeah. I saw that you took in a pretty large sum of gold.
Yes.
And how many ounces was that?
So that was a deal we did last week. It was about 120 ounces.
Okay.
About 250 Gs. And that's pretty common for us. That's not super uncommon for us to buy a deal like that. Today we bought I wrote a check for about $70,000 for a guy walking in just with some gold.
Wow.
That's a pretty common occurrence for us.
Mm-hmm. You and I are Facebook friends, so I see this stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, just an average day at the shop, taking in 250 Gs, 70,000, what have you. You said hot potato, so it stays here for how long before it goes on?
The least amount
place?
of time I can possibly keep it.
Okay.
So today's a really good example. So when we buy stuff over the counter, we're trying to be as fair as possible to people.
Right.
We don't, I don't want to pay you $100 under for your maple leaf or whatever it is. But we've gotten to the point where we've got to be careful protecting ourselves too. So basically the standard procedure for a big deal like that at this point, and it's for a lot of dealers, is really get it in and get it out immediately. And it's usually to either one of the refiners or one of the big wholesalers. Like this deal I had today, and this is going to break your heart, and I'm sorry for it.
Oh.
But there were 50 pesos in there, and the 50 peso premium has dropped so bad that, quite frankly, they went and burned.
They melted?
Yeah, they're going to melt.
Oh, good
That's
Lord.
the kind of market.
All right, video's over.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, that's my dream coin. I
know.
imagine
I know.
Those being thrown into a melting pot somewhere, but that's business.
It is business. And we're also seeing it, the worst part is we're seeing it with U.S. gold, pre-33. So, for example, I was looking at some stuff today, because, again, I was doing a burn, and I had some, I would call...
That's an industry term?
Yeah, a burn or a melt. But I ended up with, I've kind of silted up some X jewelry and some really ugly pre-33 golds, especially like 5 libs.
Okay.
And they melt for at the time I was looking at them, I don't know what they would melt for now because we've had such a change, but at the time they were melting for like $555 or $565.
Okay.
And I could, if I was going to move them to one of the larger distributors, they were going to pay me $10 under melt.
Whoa.
So pre-33 has fallen off massively as
That's
well.
crazy.
Right now, I think gold is just so high, people are too concerned to buy into the market. The little guy that can afford the small piece, they're starting to get priced and edged out. They're starting to get worried about it because it's a significant amount of change now.
Yeah. Hopefully, people will excuse the kind of the noise in the background. This is a working shop during business hours, and phones ringing and everything else.
Yeah, phones ring and everything else, and I mean, that's just what it is. Like we're in the heart of downtown Chicago. I'm sorry, guys.
I appreciate you taking the time for me, and so all right, let me back to the $250,000 worth of gold. Mm-hmm. Do you physically deliver that? Does a Brinks truck roll up?
It depends. It really depends what we're doing with it. If I have a local guy that'll buy it, it's too easy. It's either a trip out there or they come down here. If it's moving across the country, it depends. So a lot of times, it's going to go by an armored car service. It could even just go. It can go really any way. It really has to do with the insurance more than anything. But
so you don't have like a set go-to every single time you sell to the same person.
No, we honestly do our best to try to spread the wealth around.
Okay.
And we also have to understand is just like anywhere else, certain people buy certain things stronger. So a lot of times when guys walk into our shop with like ultra modern or ultra weird like commemoratives that they've paid like a lot of money for, we'll generally look at them and be like, hey, this is not that kind of shop.
Right.
I will make you an offer, but I don't want to offend you.
Yeah.
We don't deal with this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. You may want to try somewhere else. And then we'll even try to give them resources. And a lot of distributors are like that. So, there are some distributors that they make their bones in only, they're known for being the Gold Eagle guys. Or there's one company that almost deals pretty exclusively in maples. They have like the rights to distribute maples here. So you kind of go where you can. And then, we have some other local guys that, you pick up the phone and you say, hey, do you have a need for any, 50 pesos?
Right.
And, if they do, okay, you get rid of them that way.
Okay.
So it really just depends. But trying to spread the wealth out is pretty important.
Okay.
You generally want to try to keep doing business with everybody, and that's just to keep a good relationship with everybody.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So every time I come in here, you always have some weird piece of history, something interesting. And to your left there, you've got a little stack.
I do have a stack.
And so where are we starting, man?
I think since we're talking about gold, I think we should talk about gold like this first. So this is what a lot of you guys at home, the average Joe can afford.
Okay.
A 10 gram or a 20 gram bar. These are Perth Mint bars.
All righty. Take a quick look here. All right. And nice assay card, so forth, numbered.
And now here's the problem.
They
are 100% fake.
Oh my.
Completely fake.
Okay.
Those were pulled out of our archives recently, so we keep, if we find fake stuff, we keep it generally. I try to keep it and put it, as a teaching tool.
Right.
So those came out recently, and here's the fun part. If you want, you and your audience can buy them right now for $20.53.
Oh my goodness. Let me see that.
Take a look at the serial number. Even the serial number starts with a B prefix.
That's hilarious.
Exactly where they came from. There's been a lot of stories of people getting burned on gold bullion.
Okay.
And let me tell you why. It's because of greed.
Yeah.
If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
There was a cat down south, I want to say Alabama, Mississippi, somewhere in that area, who had essentially ordered like 20 of these bars, but they were ounce-sized bars, offline.
Yeah.
And then he was selling them one at a time at various pawn shops. And the pawn shop thinks they're doing great because it's this kid that walks in and gold's $2,300, and they say we'll give you $1,800 for it, and they think they're going to pocket $500, and then they realize it's fake. Or Facebook Marketplace or anything like that. If it's too good to be true, there's a reason for it.
Words to live by.
No one's going to give it away. So these are actually, and we actually had these shot, so I can tell you the composition of them. These are decent. They're not the best fakes in the world. They're 85% copper, 8.5% nickel, 4% silver, 2% gold, which is going to be all the plating, and 0.5 tungsten, which is probably more of an impurity than anything in one of the metals. these are okay ones. Once you really look at them, they don't look great. They're very choppy on the back. It's the kind of thing that Perth would never really let their quality control do.
Oh, yeah.
They don't weigh right, but they're close enough in the assay card that it gives you the maybe. But if you look, they're very brassy looking because they're made out of copper. The really good counterfeits generally use tungsten, especially for bars that size, because tungsten and gold are very, very close in density. Tungsten is the only thing as close to gold as anything else. So, but the problem is tungsten's expensive.
Yeah.
So these are serviceable. They would fool a lot of people. The assay cards look pretty good. They look very official.
So I hate to ask, who took these in?
Again, this is something from actually a couple years ago. This is before my time, actually.
Okay. All right.
But even stuff like this can still fool industry guys that, when you're just counting a box of, if somebody brought me a box of 20 gram Perth Mint gold bars, which happens sometimes, a lot of times you're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're counting, you're working the deal, getting it out. And that's a lot of how some of this stuff gets passed is they don't have the cojones to try to pass all of the fake ones, but it'll be onesie or twosies. It'll be a couple and a handful and a pile, that kind of a thing. So that's really the danger right now, and I think you're going to see a lot more of this size bar being made because, again, they're affordable for the average Joe. When you're at over $2,000 an ounce and you add the premium on top of it, you're going to be about $2,400 for a 1 ounce bar. Prices a lot of people out. A 10 gram bar is a lot more of an attractive option.
Sure. Man, that is wild. What's that other note that you have over there?
So, while cleaning said archives, I found a really, really neat...
We'll have to hold off on that story for another video. But first, a special thank you to these channel members who support my efforts to bring you videos just like this one. And thank you for watching. Now, let me show you what I purchased. Here we go. Nice selection. Take a look at these old school kookaburras, 1990. Lots of other beautiful, shiny stuff there. And this one, really, I like this one a lot. Tiny little... honest value, never fails. A bunch of this stuff, the majority of it, will go in my auction this Friday night on YouTube. Hey, if you've never attended one, come join us. It's a lot of fun, and you could pick up some cool loot. Thanks for watching, everybody.